All right, welcome back. That was a long video for part one. Take a deep breath. I think this one's going to be a little shorter. We're talking about kites. So you should be on page 401. Start copying down the theorems at the top of page 401. And then I will join you. So here we have a kite. Again, I'm not an artist. It's a quadrilateral. It's got two pairs of consecutive congruent sides. 1, 2, in order, right? Consecutive next to each other, right after another, one after another. Two pairs, 1, 2, boom, boom. So they're next to each other. 1, 2, 1, 2. But the opposite sides are not congruent. So this is not congruent to that. This is not congruent to that. These two sides are congruent. These two sides are congruent. It's a kite. And if it is a kite, then its diagonals are going to be perpendicular. Always. The diagonals are going to be perpendicular. And if it is a kite, then exactly one pair of opposite angles are congruent. Which ones do you think? These right here. One pair are congruent. Okay? These two are not. Exactly one pair are congruent. All right, let's turn the page to 402. And very top of the page, it is number 6 for monitoring progress. Okay, in a kite, the measures of the angles are 3x degrees, 75 degrees, 90 degrees, and 120 degrees. And we need to find the value of x, and we need to find, we need to figure out which angles are congruent. Remember, there's going to be one pair of congruent angles. Are these going to be both 75 degrees? Are these going to be both 90 degrees? Or are they going to be both 120 degrees? Well, wait a second. It is a quadrilateral, and all the interior angles of a quadrilateral have to add up to 360. So let's get out a calculator. Some math. 75 plus 90 plus 120 is 285. Plus 285. I always get ahead of myself. Not a good habit. Let's take away 285 from both sides. Oh, well, there you go. All right, so we know what 3x is equal to. It does, however, say find the measure of x. So let's divide by 3. So x is 25. All right, great. We know that x is 25. And then, of course, okay, this was a little hint if you know what you're doing. But if you were just doing the math, you get x is 25. You plug it back in here. 3 times 25 is 75. And what was the pair, the one pair of congruent angles? 75 degrees. And there's our answer for number 6. So we remember that a kite is still a quadrilateral. It's just a special quadrilateral, and that we can solve for x, but we also have to plug it back in and know that there is one pair of congruent angles, only one. So it's the 75s, not the 90s, not the 120s, because there are no duplicates of 90 or 120 for this kite. Okay, now let's go to the bottom of the page and let's try something a little different. I'm going to actually show you your textbook here, and we're on page 402, which is right over here. Now, of course, we could ourselves go to the Student Dynamic ebook and play these if we want another explanation. But here's what I want you to do right now, and you got to pay attention. The directions say for 8, 9, 10, we are skipping number 7. For 8, 9, 10, give the most specific name for this quadrilateral. Explain your reasoning. So number 8, I want to guide you there. You're going to answer an Edpuzzle. For number 8, we have a quadrilateral. Awesome. What do we notice? I notice that it has 4 sides that are close to each other. Ooh, but they're not congruent. It's not 50, 50, 50, 50. We have one pair of 50s and one pair of 51s. So I can't say this is a rhombus. I can say this is a, answer that in Edpuzzle. I'm going to need a dramatic pause because now we have to go to number 9. So I'm looking at number 9. I see a quadrilateral. I got some diagonals with some measurements. Now, first off, I notice that there is one pair of parallel sides so that I know that this is at least a trapezoid. Is it an isosceles trapezoid? Well, what am I going to have to do with those diagonals to figure it out? It looks like Vx is going to be 64 plus 80. So find that out. Wy is going to be 62 plus 75. So we know this is a trapezoid, number 9. My question for you in Edpuzzle, is it an isosceles trapezoid? And now for number 10. It's a weird looking thing. It's a quadrilateral. I know that these opposite sides are congruent, okay, but I don't know that they're parallel, so it's probably not a trapezoid. One side's 9, which is very special, and it looks like we have one diagonal that is split into 2, right? EG is equal to CG, EC is split into 2. So 2 congruent sides, not parallel. No information about any of the angles. We don't even know if the diagonals are perpendicular. We know one side's 9. Unfortunately, we just don't know about that other side, or even the 2 congruent sides, and the diagonal split in 2. So in Edpuzzle, what do you know about it? All right. Okay, good job, everybody. We're obviously going to have some practice problems, and it's the last section in the chapter on quadrilaterals. So we will have practice problems, talk about them, have a practice test coming up, and then eventually a test on the whole chapter. All right.